The history of money. Why paper rules the world. Imagine finding a suitcase with $1 million inside. Now imagine taking it to a remote island where nobody has ever used modern money. Would you be rich? Probably not. Because money isn't valuable because it's paper. It's valuable because billions of strangers all believe the same story. That raises a strange question. How did pieces of paper become more powerful than gold? Most people think money has always existed in one form or another. First came gold, then coins, then paper, then digital payments. But that's not what history shows. Money wasn't invented overnight. It evolved through thousands of years of failed experiments, broken promises, and one revolutionary idea. Value doesn't live inside money. It lives inside human trust. To understand why paper rules today's world, we have to travel back thousands of years to a time before money existed at all. Imagine you're a farmer with extra wheat. You need a new pair of shoes, so you visit the local shoemaker and offer your wheat in exchange. But there's a problem. The shoemaker doesn't want wheat. He wants fish. Now you have to find a fisherman who needs wheat and is willing to trade fish so you can finally get your shoes. This awkward process had a name. Economists call it the double coincidence of wants. Trade only works if both people happen to want exactly what the other person has at the same time. As villages grew into cities and cities became civilizations, this system became painfully inefficient. People needed something everyone would accept. So cultures around the world started experimenting. Some used cowrie shells. Others traded blocks of salt. Some exchanged tea bricks. Livestock often represented wealth. On the Pacific island of Yap, enormous stone wheels served as money, even though many of them were too heavy to move. Each system solved part of the problem, but none solved all of it. Many were difficult to carry, easy to damage, or impossible to divide into smaller amounts. Human civilization needed something better. Then came gold. Gold seemed almost perfect. It didn't rust. It was rare enough to be valuable. It could be melted into coins, and almost every civilization admired its beauty. For centuries, gold became one of humanity's favorite stores of wealth. But even gold had serious flaws. Imagine buying groceries using tiny pieces of gold, or carrying enough gold across a continent to buy a house. Merchants constantly worried about fake coins, shaved edges, robbery, and the sheer weight of transporting their fortunes. That's when an interesting idea changed history. Instead of carrying gold everywhere, wealthy merchants began leaving it with trusted goldsmiths for safekeeping. In return, the goldsmith gave them a paper receipt. That receipt promised the owner could return at any time and exchange it for the stored gold. At first, people redeemed those receipts regularly. But something unexpected happened. People realized it was easier to hand someone the receipt than to collect the gold first. The paper started moving from person to person while the gold stayed locked away. For the first time, paper itself became money. The first government-issued paper money appeared in China during the Song dynasty more than 1,000 years ago. The reason wasn't philosophical. It was practical. Copper coins were incredibly heavy. Merchants traveling long distances often carried bags weighing dozens of pounds. Paper notes solved that problem almost instantly. A single lightweight note could represent an enormous amount of value. The idea eventually spread across Asia and later into Europe. Banks began issuing paper notes backed by precious metals stored safely in their vaults. Every note represented a promise. Bring this paper back, and you'll receive real gold. For a long time, that promise helped people trust paper. But history had other plans. Wars became more expensive. Economies became more complicated. Governments needed greater flexibility than a fixed amount of gold could provide. Then, in 1971, one of the biggest financial changes in modern history occurred. The United States officially ended the dollar's convertibility into gold. From that point forward, most major currencies became what economists call fiat money. That means modern money isn't backed by gold. It's backed by trust. Trust that governments will remain stable. Trust that businesses will continue accepting it. Trust that tomorrow, your money will still buy something valuable. Think about that for a second. A dollar bill costs only a few cents to produce, yet people exchange it for groceries, cars, homes, education, and even years of their own labor. Why? Because everyone believes everyone else will accept it tomorrow. Money is one of the largest social agreements ever created. In fact, today, paper isn't even the main form of money anymore. Look at your bank account. Your salary probably arrives electronically. You pay bills through an app. You tap your phone to buy coffee. You transfer money without touching a single bill. Most modern money exists only as numbers stored inside computers. Those numbers work for exactly the same reason paper worked: trust. History also shows what happens when that trust disappears. During periods of hyperinflation, some countries printed so much money that prices rose every single day. People needed wheelbarrows full of banknotes just to buy a loaf of bread. Money itself hadn't changed. The paper looked the same. The ink looked the same. But belief had vanished. And without belief, money became almost worthless. Today, another transformation is already underway. Cash is becoming less common. Digital wallets are replacing physical wallets. Cryptocurrencies introduced an entirely new way of thinking about money. Central banks around the world are exploring digital versions of national currencies. Technology keeps evolving. But one thing has remained remarkably consistent throughout thousands of years of human history. Money has never really been about the material it's made from. Whether it's shells, gold, paper, or digital code, none of it has value unless enough people collectively agree that it does. The material changes. The story stays exactly the same. The next time you hold a banknote, pause for a moment. You're not simply holding paper. You're holding one of the greatest acts of human cooperation ever created. A tiny object that only works because billions of complete strangers trust one another enough to believe it has value. Maybe that's the real invention. Not coins, not gold, not paper, not even digital money. The greatest invention was trust. Because without trust, money is just paper. If tomorrow every paper bill disappeared overnight, but your digital bank balance stayed exactly the same, would you still feel rich? Let me know your answer in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden stories behind everyday things, don't forget to subscribe for more.